Well, hello folks, we're at it again. We're going to keep plugging along here. So let's recap where we are. So first we'll start with the rectifier tube. This is the 80 tube, and if you look at the bottom of the chassis on this diagram, that is right here. So you've got two plates and two filaments. So let's talk about the rectifier tube for a second. So you'll see here that I've got the two plate connections and I've got the two filament connections. And how do I know that? Well, let's take a look at the schematic. So you'll see here that the blue wires come in and form the filament, right? I've got them marked as blue. They both come down and mark the filament. And then you'll see the green wires, which come off the primary winding, make up the plate connections. So what you'll see here are the two plates and the two filaments. However, if you look at this connection right here, you'll see that the filament windings have a connection that go out to the positive side of the 8 microfarad electrolytic cap, which then continue on to the speaker socket from the bottom view. Okay, so let's look at that on the chassis. So here's the speaker socket, and you'll see that I've got the 8 microfarad cap soldered in, and I've got a blue wire, which then comes all the way back down here and goes right here to the filament connection. Okay? So I've got all that in place. So basically the 80 rectifier tube is complete. Okay? I still need to connect this end of the electrolytic cap, but that's okay. I've also connected my 2.5 volt rail, which is my filament for the 2A5 and the 57s, and those are connected right here. Okay, so I now have the transformer connected here and here, and of course this connection feeds these filaments here. What I have yet to do is the center tap for the primary winding, and just looking at the schematic, that's this black wire right here, which you'll see comes along here and actually goes to the bottom of that 8 microfarad cap. And it then continues along, feeding up through this resistor. If you remember, I left one end of the resistor flapping in the breeze there, and that's this resistor right here, okay, on this strip that I put in. So one end connects there, and the other end connects to this flexible wire resistor, which is 355 ohms, then goes to ground. So I'm just going to put a 350 or whatever I can find closest to that, and then mount it to ground. So theoretically, I will have this whole rail put in place. So that's what I have so far. Let's mark the schematic, get that part done, and then we'll focus on what we're going to do next. So let's get me a little bit organized here. Okay. So let's take a look. So we've connected this right here to the filament, and we've connected this to the filament right here. And again, that's these blue wires right there. We've connected the green to the plates right here. Okay. And that's these green wires right here. We've also connected a wire that goes from here all the way to the speaker socket right there. And that's this blue wire right here that runs all the way up and goes right there to the speaker socket. And then lastly, we've installed one side of this cap. We haven't done the other side yet. Okay? So you'll notice on the speaker connection, I already have the center connection. I have this connection, I just don't have this side, so I'm getting close there. Once I connect the center tap wire, which I just described to you, which will connect to this capacitor, 8 microfarad, and then we'll come along this rail. There'll be a connection to go up to that resistor, and then there'll be a resistor at the end of this rail, 355, to ground. And that'll be that. So essentially, almost the entire bottom will be done. And then all I really have left to do here is to mount a 0.1 microfarad cap here, the 4 microfarad electrolytic here, both of them to ground. Both of them go up to this rail, which go to the other speaker connection, and also to this pair of resistors, which then go up and do other things. But we'll get to that. So pulling back on the camera a little bit, you'll see the orange is continuing to look good there. We're doing really, really well. So that's the recap for now. I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit more, and then I'll come back and mark off what I've completed. So again, trying to keep this neat. When I get all these wires where I want them, I may put a tie wrap there to hold them together. These wires I'm going to dress a little bit more, but I want to get a little more of these connections in place before I do that. I'll clean this up here. I want to make sure this is flush, and making good progress. All right, so that's the update for now. I'll be back when I do a little bit more. All right, it's time for another update, so I'm getting a little more done here. So what you'll see is I've added one more terminal strip right here. Right there, you can see it. And this is a ground point again, right here. And first of all, I've taken this resistor right here, which was the, on the schematic, the 250K resistor that was sitting there waiting. So I've taken that and I've connected that to one of the terminal points. Okay. I've then taken the black center tap, okay, that's coming off of the primary winding, and I've also connected it to that same terminal point. And then I've taken the negative side of this 8 microfarad capacitor right here. Okay, I've got a wire attached to it, and I've also put it onto the same terminal point. So basically, if you look at the schematic, what we've been able to accomplish is getting this entire center tap connected up through the electrolytic cap. We've got it connected to this resistor right here. And the last thing is this flexible resistor I told you about. Now, if you remember what that is, I'll show you before I show you what I've done around it. Let me see if I can find it. Ah, here it is. Okay. So this is the original resistor that's shown right here, 355 ohms. And you'll see it's nothing but a wire. Okay? That's all the resistor is, really, if you think about it. Well, we're not going to put this in. It's junky. The ends are all crappy. So what we did here, this resistor right here is a 390 ohm resistor, and I've taken it off of the same terminal block and then gone right here to ground, which is where it needs to go. And that's right here. So right, same connection point, resistor, ground. So theoretically, I have all that connected. So what we should really do now is mark it off on the schematic and make sure that we've got that all identified. So let's do that first. So we've got our center tap right here connected to the other end of this electrolytic cap. We've got that. We've got this all the way here, comes across, and we also attach to the other end of this resistor right here, comes all the way down, and then we've added this flexible resistor to ground. So that's what we have so far. The entire bottom is just about done with the exception of this these two caps that I have to put in. And also the speaker connection is almost done. That's really cool. So so that's done. So next area I'll focus on in the next video, it won't be this one, is going to be T3, connecting T3 on the top of the chassis, which will come out right here, and making all the connections that we have to make. And you'll see I've got color codes here, but I have to remember if I color coded it correctly, so I'm going to have to ohm all this out. Fortunately, the schematic tells you how many ohms approximately it should be. So 19 ohms, 7.2, 27. So when I take this coil, I'm going to ohm out all of these connections and see which one is which. I'm pretty sure I followed the color where I could. So there's a green, and I'm assuming that that's the green right here, 19 ohms. There's a black wire right here, and I'm assuming that that is the black wire that comes off of this somewhere. I think they call it brown here. And then there's a white and a red, and I'll have to figure out what that is. There's white, and the only one I don't know is red. Oh, actually, there's the black one right there. So I'll assume that the brown one is my red one. Anyway, I'll have to ohm it out and figure that out, and then when I attach it, I'll know I have it in the right place. So that's going to be in the next video. All right, that's it for now. Hope you're enjoying today's musical selection. Of course, it's the Eagles. All right, folks, take care. Bye. This is Ron.